Greetings to you from the table of ABC of Cloud Computing. My name is Paul Taye Ogborefo. I am a product of Pillars Cloud Technology, and I am a proud member of the Ashen Limited family. So today we'll be doing something a bit different from the usual ones. And what we'll be doing today is PowerShell. We are going to learn PowerShell, but first and foremost, let's try to understand the concept and the idea behind PowerShell. So prior to this time, I've had the opportunity of web development where I would need to run thousands of codes to get a simple interface. And that alone got me scared of PowerShells when I come into cloud computing. But as growth requires that you cannot do without PowerShell in cloud computing, I had to quickly try to adapt and learn the fundamentals and the rudiments of PowerShell. So I'll be breaking these concepts down to the understanding of possibly those people that are currently in the shoes that I was before now in a simple terminology. So PowerShell is not a coding kind of stuff, but simply a command line or script for executing commands. So PowerShell basically make do use of a verb noun. And in our English elementaries, we are told that a verb is an action word. So when we now say a noun can be an object. And when you now say it is a verb noun is more or less you saying take an action on an object, right? That is what it basically means. And often at times you make the use of get, set, update, and all of those stuffs. Stop, new, all of those are actions you are carrying out on what that becomes a question. Could it be get me the pot? You are carrying that action on a pot. You get the pot, right? Set the pot, you get it set. So the same way, for example, if we want to talk about identity now, and you probably want to, let's say, create a user, right, in our Active Directory environment like we have here, we tend to say new what? New AD user, right? You can say new what? New item, right? Now, if you say new item, for example, you want to get a file, right? Now, doing that, you can say new item in where? In so part. This is the name, a verb now. So to start, I will open our PowerShell for us to begin. My initial plan was to, take this video, make it lengthy to the point where we'll get to creating a single user and, a bulk of users, probably using an Excel sheet. But no, we'll just do the elementary now, and maybe subsequent time, we tend to carry out proper actions that we'll be able to see from our Active Directory users and computer in the formats of probably creating whole use, creating groups, creating users, bulk users, and all of those. But I will tell you something quickly before I go into the PowerShell and Windows PowerShell that I opened initially. I'll tell you that for every Active Directory has a Windows PowerShell module on its account by default, which you just come here and open and make do use of. You see something just load up before this interface open. That is just a process of installing the module. If I was to use this guy for Active Directory, commands execution, I would have to first of all install the Active Directory module, PowerShell on it first and foremost. So the few things we'll be doing, we shall start with the get services. I have a reason why we want to start with that get services. So what get services do for us is it will give you the full services that are on your computer. Apart from the services, it also shows the status of those services, which can be running which can be what? Stop. So if I do get services, please, I want you to know something. In PowerShell, when you are writing, always try to use your tab key to complete your commands. So like this now, as I've written get sir, if I should, press my tab key, is going to give me service, right? This is because this command is valid. It tends to show you that your command is valid. But if I should do this and put E, and I press my tab, it tends to give me nothing. So I can easily tell that something is wrong with my typing, right? That is the essence of using the tab key to complete your commands, to ensure the validity of that command, right? Now, you'll notice that I wrote service, sir, and it gives me only service, and it's not giving me something else. But if I should clean this is only get else, and I press my tab, you see that it gives me schedule job. If I should press it again, it gives me another one. If I should press it, it keeps going until it will get towards services, right? But if you have an idea of what you want to do, you can even type it completely. For example, note something here. I'm using the small letter S. It's not as if this particular PowerShell is case sensitive, but I want you to notice something. This is one thing I usually do to ensure that my command is correct. Now, I have typed the get service completely, right? What I want to do now, to be sure, this is, a point of cross-checking, to be sure that it's actually correct. Then I'll press my tab button. You notice something, that the S turned to capital letter. So I will hit on enter. These are all the services that are currently running and the ones that are stored on my system, right? So here you can see all of those things running and stop. Now, what about if you want to, maybe check for only the services that are running or only the services that are stopped? Now, this is what you do. You do get service. I use my tab to complete this. You see now, then I want to start a new command. This is a command on its own. I want to start another line of command to say, okay, I want to get service, but let it be based on this particular object, right? So I will give it this, and then you see now there is a red arrow here. This is to show that if I should decide to run this command, it will not work. This red arrow showing here is indicating an error, an incomplete code. So from here, I would have to check what is missing and what need to be done. So now I want to say where object, right? Where object. Then if I should press my tab, it completes it for me. Then I will open these columns, right? Let me just open and close. You see now, on open and close, this arrow turns to red. Then I'll just bring my my cursor, my line now, right, back to the middle of those two columns. Then I'll now say, what do you want? Where object is what, right? This is where where object. Where object, that is what it means. Where object is, now I'm going to use the $sign. This is a variable, right? I'll give it an underscore, then I'll give it a full stop, right? I'll now say status, right? Status. And then I'll give it is equal to, right? This is equal to, then I want to say running, right? I'll now do running. Is equal to running. Okay. Now if I should hit on enter, you see now it's giving me only the services that are running. Now, if I should press my up arrow button in my keyboard, let me just enlarge this, right? If I should press my up arrow button on my keyboard, it tends to give me my last command. If I should press it again, it gives me the initial last command before the last command, and so on and so forth. So in this case, I want to turn this running to what? Stop. Now I want to turn it to stop, and now it will give me all the services that are stored on this machine. So for you that is learning, I wanted to just show you that because I don't want it to be part of our script, and just so it doesn't form a very bulky something for us, right? Now, for you that is learning, in the journey, right, that you are just starting, maybe some of the times you want to recall some of these services. What do I mean? Some of these commands that you have run before. What you would do is to start with, starting a transcript, right? It tends to start a transcript where it will document or create a file in your document folder where it will document every command that you have carried out. for you. It keep them in the log. I mean, you gather all the log in a TFC file. So what do you do now? You just do start, right? You do start. Then you give it, what do you want to start transcript? So I can just do trans and then I will enter my tag transaction. No, what I want to start is transcript. Now, notice what will happen as I press it on my enter. It says transcript was started. Output file is here. So what I will do now is just to copy the file path and the file name, everything all together. Right? I can literally go to my uh, Explorer. Getting to my file Explorer, I'll go to document because this is where it is. Then I will locate this particular file here. But what I want to do now is I have copied everything out. I'll just use the Windows arrow key for the run button. Then I have one that is open here before, but this is not what I want to open. I'll just clean this off and then paste the one I just copied. Oh, I didn't copy. Let me do that again. Okay, so I copy this now. I do my Windows arrow and I paste here. On OK, it opens the file for me. So this is where our transcripts or our commands, our command logs will be saved. So from here, let's continue. The next thing we want to do is probably check the version of this PowerShell. So I can just go with dollars, right? Then I will do PS version, right? If I do PS version table, I'll do dots PS version. Then if I should hit on enter, it gives me the current version of this PowerShell, which is version 5. Now let's do Windows arrow again and enter OK. You see here, this is the command I ran, and this is the result it gave me. You see it's documenting, and that is how it will keep on going and going. So what can we then do next, having this in place? So we want to make do use of, we have run get services. We want to make do use of, should we use get command to start? Okay, let's do get command. Let's see all the commandlets that are available for our use. So if I do this, it gives me get command, then I enter, right? Okay, now you see commandlets. These are all the commandlets commands that we have. Perhaps you want to create a new item. You can come here to see, okay, I want to move an item. There is a command for it. You want to move AD objects. You want to mount Windows image. You want to do this. You want to, a new AD group. You want to create a new AD object. I think there should be a user somewhere. Yeah, a new AD user. So now this is a command. These are commandlets and these are functions, right? These are the much you can do with what? PowerShell. These are layers. So now we are going to focus on commandlets. I wanted to use AD user, right? But let's do group because I knew I was supposed to do something with a group. Now look at this. We have get AD group. I know now that I want to perform an action with an AD group, or probably I want to do new AD group. I want to create a new AD group. I know what I want to do, but I don't know how to do them. Or probably I know I want to create a new group, right? I want to create a new group, but I don't know the actual command to use because this one now just gave me a whole lot to say, oh yeah, these are all you can do. Start, looking for where you have your new AD group or your this or your that. So what you can do basically is, since you know you want to create a group, right? What you will do is there are 3 ways of filtering your commands, your get command, to streamline the process of looking for what you want to do, and you make do use of the asterisk, right? For example, if you want to do a new group now, I know it's a new group, right? I don't know where the new is, and I don't know where the group is. I don't know how they are written. So one thing I can do is to say get command, right? If I do get command and I give it a space and do new, right? If I do new and I give it asterisk here and enter, it will give me all the new all the new objects, all the objects that begins with new, right? All the commands that begins with new are what they will give me, right? Now, let's say, okay, they are still too much for me, and I need to say, okay, maybe they not begin with new. Probably I did not see it here. For example, I can decide to say, okay, get command, then I'll put the asterisk before the new, right? If I should do this, I'm saying the new should end, the command should end with what? A new. So if I should hit enter, it's possible that there is nothing that is ending with new. I don't think there will be anything, and that is why you see it not returning anything for me. But if I do group, let's see if it will give me anything. Yes. Now, if I do group, you notice that group objects ends this because these are together, right? You notice that group ends this. You notice that group ends this. So all the functions it will give you are those that ends with group. But now, let's say you know that what you are creating, the command is new group, but you don't know where the new group is, whether it's at the beginning or at the end. So what you just do is to put the asterisk, they put the group in between two asterisk. What it will do for you, it will give you all the command type that has group in it, regardless of anywhere they are. Now from here, you see, let's look. You see local group, it ends, AD group, it ends, this ends. I'm looking for somewhere we can have it at the end, right? Get in the group. Okay, we have some at the end here. Where we can have it at the middle, right? Where we can have it at the middle. Group member. Yeah, we are just saying group. This is still in the middle, and we did not have anyone that begins with group. All right, let's do new AD group, right? AD. Now we have it only one here, new AD group. No matter how I have typed this, it will still give me the same thing. Even if I remove this asterisk, it will give me, same thing because we have it only one. It's a command that will just say, okay, create a new group, right? Now, look at something. Let's say, okay, I have seen this command and this is how I'll be able to create a new group. How then do I create? What do I need to have this group up and running? What I want to do is I will do the get app, right? Get app. If I do get app, and I say what I need is a new AD group, right? I will now do new, right? New AD group. Now, this is more like I want to create a new group, but I don't know how to create a new group and the parameters that will be required. Now, if I hit on enter, this is what it's telling me, new AD group. Now, to start with, I will have to start with new AD group, right? If I do new AD group, then I'm expected to give it a name. Now, from name, what I can do is to say string. I will have to give it a string, right? Then I can begin group scope. Then if I should say group scope, then the domain local, whether it's a global group or whether it's a universal group. This is one of those things I can provide. Then I can say, okay, display name. The display name I want the group to have. I can come here and then I'll give it a string. Group category. Group category. Is it a distribution group? Is it a security group? Then I can create all that. Now, when you see this one do not have boolean. Now, if you see anywhere string means a name, perhaps, and you often separate them. If they are names, if there are two names that have space in between them, for example, a display name. Let's say you want to use Paul Ogboref and they have to be space, then you have to put them in between two columns. Otherwise, you can just leave them standing on their own. So this is how, and these are some of the things you can use in creating these groups, right? Now that is app for a new group, I may now want to say get app, right? Let's make use of okay, let's use this get app, right? And then I'll give it a space. and I'll say detailed, right? I'll say detailed. Let it give me a full detail of what I will be needing, the parameters I'll be needing to create this group. You see, new name, AD group, then the syntax. This can be all of the syntax, some accounts and the rest, even parts, you know. Then the parameters, auth type, AD auth type, confirm, confidential, PS credentials. Credentials, PS credentials. The description is string, the display name is string. It will just give you the full details of what will be required. Perhaps I need an example, right? If I should need an example, I can just go like this again, and then I'll change this detail to example. If I do example and I enter, it tends to give me example of what. Oh. It's not giving us example. Why? GetHelp cannot find the F files for this command lines on this computer. It is displaying only partial F. Okay, so what this simply means is I'll need to go and get this from online, and I currently don't have internet at the moment, right? So this ought to have worked for it to give me an example. All right, another way you can learn this quickly is making do use of the PowerShell ISE. So if you open the PowerShell ISE, you can just, show the command add-on at the side here. When you hit on this, you search for what you want to do, the action you want to perform. You can do AD user, right? When you do this, you say new AD user. We are not getting any AD user because this domain have not even created a single user. Now let's just use this to create one, right? Now look at something here. Look at something here. It is only name that is required, right? Only name that is required. If you want to really learn PowerShell, what is the name of this person? Let's say Paul, right? I can decide to forfeit every other thing, but I will not do that. Let me say city is Lagos, right? Lagos, and company is my company. Let's do, okay, do we give it password? Do we enable it? So these are all the things that you can, insert, but not mandatory. Display name. Let's just quickly do this to create a user before we'll call it a day. All right. Now display name. Let's do when we say display name, we can do Paul Uboriefo, right? And then email address. This I can do Paul at yahoo.com. Right? Employee ID, do I want to enable this account? Is a Boolean of either yes or no? But I don't want to do that. Giving name, let's say all, home directory, home page, home phone, attribute, like a lot. But the only thing that is required here is name. You would wonder, what about the account expiration? Account password. So just to do that, and I will not enable the account. So I can decide to just run. If I should run it, it will go and create that user in my directory. But now what I want to do is to do insert. So if I insert it, for you that wants to learn new, you can just come. When you do all of this, you come here to check how they are really working. If you are not all that social, you now see that it starts with new AD user, the name is this, and it's in between string, in between two column, right? If you notice, Paul at yahoo.com is not in between anything. It can go. If it happens that there is a space here, that is where I will have issue. That is to say, I will need to put a a quote rather. Like what I be calling that a column is a quote, right? You come and put a quote here on it. And if I decide to run this command, if I decide to run it, it will create this user for me. If I should go to my active users and computer, and I come to my users here, you will see that user created, but something happened, is not enabled because we did not enable the account, and I cannot even enable it now. If I should try to say enable, then it will not work. Reason is it hasn't gotten a password, and without a password, it cannot be enabled. So I can do reset password, and I give it a password. If I should give it a password, and then I OK, then I can go ahead and enable the account. That is to say that the user can now sign in. You see now that the account is enabled.